Hello, everybody. My name is John Frazier, and today we're going to be doing a little demonstration of the new shipping functionality that's been built into the StoneEdge Order Manager. Before we get into the actual program, though, let's take a look and talk about what's actually new. So we've built a completely new shipping system from the ground up. It replaces all of the existing shipping functionality, including that was dependent on ShipRush, UPS Online Tools, any third-party stuff like FedEx Ship Manager, UPS World Ship, you name it. This is a total replacement for everything. It introduces built-in rate shopping, which has never been available before. With the rate shopping, you're allowed to create a definition of what your published shipping methods mean. So you might have a shipping method called standard shipping, for example. And your definition of standard shipping might be that it has to get to the customer within 7 days versus expedited shipping that has to get to the customer within 3 days. So we'll allow you to select a published shipping method or a customer-facing shipping method, and then have that automatically pick the least expensive shipping method that meets the requirements for your published shipping method. And as I mentioned, we've rebuilt a whole new shipping system from the ground up. So that means you get a single unified interface that supports all of the major shipping carriers. So there's no third-party dependencies. You don't have to toggle between different shipping applications to get out a UPS label and then a FedEx label and then a USPS label. It's all one single interface. We've introduced this new functionality at the approval options form and view orders form for people who want to print shipping labels just one at a time as they're processing the orders. We've also reintroduced a new concept around what we used to call quick ship, and we've rebuilt the packing functionality on what was called the pack and ship system, and all of that is all in one single UI. The main advantages of this new system that you guys are going to appreciate is better postage rates. We've been able to negotiate really good rates with our postage broker that will allow all StoneEdge users to get commercial plus pricing for USPS postage. Most StoneEdge users alone would not qualify for this level of a discount, but because we approached them and they looked at all of StoneEdge's user base and aggregate, they were able to give us the best possible rates available through the post office. Your UPS and FedEx rates that you've negotiated, those come right through and are available in here, so nothing changes there. As I mentioned earlier, the rate shopping is in there. You get to define what each of your shipping methods mean, and then have the software automatically match that up to real shipping methods that meet those time in transit requirements and delivery requirements. Before you get started on this, you just can't rush off and download this. You do need to get some stuff in place before you download it. That process usually takes place in less than 24 hours. We're working on making that real time. But for now, we do need to have you establish a postage meter with us up front and link your UPS and FedEx accounts to that meter. So there's a simple application that you need to fill out. We can provide that to you. And then once you have that in place, then you're free to go and download the latest version of StoneEdge and get this set up. When you do install StoneEdge, because everything is brand new, you are going to have to do some setup and configuration. It's not terribly difficult. It probably shouldn't take you more than 10 or 15 minutes. But it is something that you want to do off hours, not in the middle of your shipping day. You'll want to get that downloaded and go through the shipping configuration to make sure that you have everything all set up. Then once your shippers come in the following day, then they can get to work and use the new system. I think you'll find that training your shippers is going to be pretty simple. The interface is pretty user-friendly and pretty easy to use, pretty self-explanatory. But we'll go through that here in just a second. All right, so let's take a look at StoneEdge itself. So the first thing that we do is we're going to go right in here to the main menu and click on Ship My Orders. That's going to open up the new shipping system. Let's take a look here and see what's on the screen. So the first thing you see on the left-hand side here is going to be a search box as well as a list of shipping methods that you have set up in StoneEdge, different quick filters that you can use to bring up orders, and then even specific shopping carts. If you wanted to look up orders and ship orders just for a specific order source, you could do that as well. But by default, what's going to show up here is all of your unshipped orders that need to be shipped, sorted by the oldest order first. So this should prioritize the most critical shipments that need to go out first. Should be right at the top of the list. Those are the ones that are waiting, that are able to be shipped. They've been approved. They just don't have any tracking data associated with them right now. So this is the full list of orders that need to go out. You can see the StoneEdge order number, the order date. The quantity is the number of line items on the order, as well as the source of the order, what we call the requested shipping method or the published shipping method. This is what the customer would have selected during checkout. And then, the high-level address information where it's going to. Let's click on an order and we'll show you what's going on with the right-hand side. So when I select an order, you'll see you get this little message box telling you that the order is loading. It does take a couple of seconds to run because it is doing the rate shop automatically for you when you select an order. What comes up over here on the right-hand pane by default is the shipping view. This is going to show you all of the information that it's determined for this shipment. It's going to bring in a weight automatically. The weight can come depending on how you have StoneEdge set up. It can use the weight that came in from the website or the marketplace when the order was imported. Or you can tell it to use the weights that are in your inventory table. So if you have actual and published weights set up locally in StoneEdge, it will ignore what came in from the web, and then just use the total of the weights of all the products on the order to come up with a weight right here. The next thing you see is the dimensions. Now, many of you are probably wondering how it determined the dimensions of an item. So in order to use this, you have to have the boxes feature set up in StoneEdge, and you have to have item dimensions for all of the items in your inventory. So you might have to do a little bit of legwork to get your data up to speed to where it can use this, but I think that the automation benefits are well worth that investment in having accurate data. The drop-down box here is going to list all of the boxes that you have set up within StoneEdge, and it automatically determined the smallest box that will hold all the contents of this order. In that case, it's selected medium box. The next thing down here is the service, and it's selected ground. As you can see here, it's going to provide a list of every available shipping method between your address and the customer's address that can handle this shipment. And it's going to sort them by the least expensive one and select the least expensive one automatically for you. Now, as we talked about earlier in this video, there's a way to define your shipping methods. So you'll see here this requested shipping method. This is just an example, but it's called 4 to 7 business days. That could be called standard shipping. It could be called regular or ground or whatever you wanted it to be. But the point is that whatever that shipping method is, you need to go into the shipping settings and define what shipping methods can be mapped to this published shipping method, and then what the time in transit requirements are for that shipping method. So in this case, it's set up to get to the customer within 7 days, and all of the shipping methods that were returned in the rate shop conform to that requirement that you established. So if you're shipping a package between Philadelphia and New York, and the customer selects second day air, and we determine that UPS ground can get that package from Philadelphia to New York within 2 days, then it will select UPS ground instead of second day air. And obviously that's going to save you a lot of money, and it's going to keep the customer happy as well. The other thing here is that it selected a signature automatically. There are settings that you can set up to establish what the default value is here. So it's based on the order value. If the order is over a certain dollar amount, or the cost of the shipment is over a certain dollar amount, then you can tell it to default to any one of these types of signatures automatically. Of course, any of this stuff can be manually overwritten by the shipper. If you wanted to, if the software thinks it needs a medium box and your shipper can get it all into a small box, great. He can pack it into the small box and then re-rate shop the order. And then you'll see right here, it's now selecting priority mail as your service, and it has a much lower shipping rate. Once you have everything here that you like, then you can just print this print button and it'll print out your shipping label. But before I do that, I want to show you what else is on this screen. If I click over on the order button on this accordion here, what it's going to do is it's going to give me a snapshot of all of the order details. So if your packer needed more information, or if you're trying to operate paperless, if they're not working off of a paper packing slip or an invoice, they could come here and see the actual line items that were on the order, the dimensions, the weight, and so on. They can see the product totals, the grand totals, and then where it's shipping to. Any notes, gift messages, special instructions that would have appeared at the view order screen that the customer would have entered, those would appear right down here, as well as any existing tracking numbers would appear here as well. If you wanted to edit anything, this little icon right here will take you to the view order screen where you have full control over the order to make any edits, and then you can come right back to this screen as soon as you close that order at the view order screen. The other view that's here is the items view. This gives just another little insight into what items need to be packed. So your packer could also pack right off of this, then tab down to shipping, select the right box, and print out the label. I'll also have you know that this is tied in with barcode scanners and shipping scales as well. So if you wanted to, ignore the weights here, or just use this just to get general rate shopping, you can do that and then have the software capture the weight from your scale, the actual precision weight, at the time it prints the label. And then of course would just adjust your shipping charges slightly as well. So I'm happy with everything, so I'm going to go ahead and print this out. All right. And you guys can't see it, but my Eltron printer over on my desk just printed out a shipping label for me. And that's it, and you're done.